What's good, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Goats of Growth, formerly Overquota, but I've changed it, Brandon. You might not have even known that. Please subscribe, rate, and review if you haven't already. And like always, the J. David Group, which is my company, sponsoring this episode. We help recruit today's go-to-market teams that will lead the next generation of unicorns. Email me, Webb, at thejdavidgroup.com to learn more about how we can help. And don't forget, I'm working on a book called The Goats of Growth, the untold stories of the greatest revenue leaders of all time, due out by the end of next year. So follow me on LinkedIn to learn more about that. My guest today is Brandon Bornancin, the CEO, founder, and inventor of Seamless AI, which delivers the world's best sales leads using artificial intelligence to find anyone's direct dials, emails, and cell phone numbers in seconds. So far, they've helped over 500,000 sales teams automate list building and fill their calendars with back-to-back appointments and generate millions in sales. Brandon is also a motivational speaker, and when you hear him talk, you'll know he has a lot of energy, and the #1 best-selling author of 3 books, including Sales Secrets, Whatever It Takes, and 7-Figure Social Selling. Brandon, welcome to the Goats of Growth.
Hey, Jay, congrats on the book. Congrats on all of your success. Honored and grateful to be here with you today.
Thank you. Yeah, likewise, for sure, man. I mean, your success is remarkable, to say the least. A couple things first. #1.
Hey, your success is my success.
Exactly. I like that. Synergy. A couple things. #1, if you're listening, this episode's only going to be 30 minutes. So if you're used to an hour episode, Brandon has a demand on his time, so we're going to do it 30 minutes, but I'll ask him back again for sure to get another 30 minutes out of him, because I know there's just a lot to cover. That's #1. #2, Brandon, I mentioned 500,000 sales teams that you've helped. I got that from a podcast that I listened to. I think you said over 500,000, but I remember at first I had data that was over 150,000. So just sort of set me straight there. How many sales teams have you helped at this point so far with Seamless?
Oh man, like the exact count I don't have in front of me. I track the leads, the appointments, the sales in Tableau every single day. And then we've got an award called President's Club Awards, where you make over 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures in sales. I'm pulling up the data right now. Yep. It's called ROI Tableau Dashboard. Of our users today is the 15th. So real quick, by our users, over 865 million leads researched, 17.31 million appointments, 3.4 million deals closed using the software, 34 billion in revenue, 16,058 6-figure winners, 5,038 7-figure winners, 583 8-figure club winners, 4 9-figure club winners. One of those is Seamless, because we've generated over 110 million in sales in 4 years. So my data team has the exact user count. I know it's over, we're probably around 600,000 sales teams or whatever, but lot of salespeople, marketers, entrepreneurs, recruiters that use Seamless to connect opportunity. And our goal at Seamless is to positively impact billions and help you win our President's Club Award insanely fast. I want you to get into the 6-figure club award, and then elevate you and ascend you to the 7-figure award, 8-figure award, 9-figure award.
Absolutely no surprise that someone who's built such an engine, such a machine, has the data at his fingertips and was able to share all of that with me to start. So I appreciate that.
Well, it's funny. I should have the damn data on, total number of users and sales teams. Yeah. But I know the report that I got to go to get it, and I wouldn't be able to get it in 1 second.
I hear you. And since I didn't prep you for this episode, it's all sort of extemporaneous at this point. So I appreciate that. One of the things that I was curious about mostly, obviously this podcast is called The Goats of Growth, and I'm just obsessed with how growth happens. Thank you. How growth happens. And so I'm looking at your success at Seamless, and I see 0 to 112 million in 4 years or so. And I guess the big question I have for you is that, what were the strategic decisions that you made early on to get from, say, 0 to 1 million? Let's just start there. Give me some of the decisions that you made to get from 0 to 1 million.
Yeah. No, great question, Jay. So I think it started with like the way Seamless was created was because I was put on a performance plan, and a lot of people don't know this shit, right? So I'm going to drop some brand new content for the goats of growth. Like people don't know I was put on a performance plan selling for the number one tech company in the world called IBM. So yes. I went into IBM, like I was an entrepreneur. My first company did 12 million in sales in college. My second company, when they made online gambling illegal, which is what that business was in, I launched a mobile marketing software company. I ran that for 4 years, lost 4 million, went bankrupt. It was the worst 4 years of my life. And then I went broke and I'm like, I got to get a sales job. And that's when I started selling for IBM. So like it all started when I was selling for IBM, and probably a lot of you out there may join a company that may not have the great culture, the great coaching, the great support. Like I was brand new to enterprise B2B sales right out of the gate. I was doing whatever it takes to be successful. Couldn't generate the sales, was put on a performance plan. So when I was put on the performance plan, I was like, shit, I already lost everything I've ever had with my startup called InMobile going bankrupt. I cannot lose this job and stay sleeping on my girlfriend's family's air mattress in the basement of this cold, shitty place.
Wow.
I'm like, we got to get out of here because when we went broke, I had to move in with my girlfriend. My parents moved to the West Coast, and literally I had an air mattress sleeping in the basement of her house with her family. And when I got put on the performance plan, I audited all of what was killing me from being successful. What was killing my success? I noticed that 70% of my time was wasted on this dumb shit related to list building, finding contacts, finding accounts, scouring millions of websites, looking for emails and phone numbers. And then the other thing was like 20% of the time was like trying to understand and overcome sales objections. 10% of the time was like follow up and closing. So like the core of it was list building, then objection handling and scripts and training, and then follow up. So I'm like, if I could solve this gap here, it could change everything. And then built Seamless to automate the list building, the CRM data entry, the finding everyone's cell phones and emails. And that took a while to build. But once I built it, went from zero to tens of millions and $100 million in sales, became a sales millionaire. Eventually I quit IBM and went to Google, selling for Google. And the 0 to 1, when I became a millionaire in sales, selling for Google, using Seamless as my secret weapon, 0 to 1 million when I quit Google to go build Seamless was very easy. It was the list will make you rich. The one thing that you need is the list. If you build the list, sell to the list, you can go from 0 to millions insanely fast. And we actually just did all in on that. No marketing, no advertising, no webinars, no books, no bullshit, no events, because I had no money. I couldn't do events. I couldn't do ads. I couldn't do Facebook. Couldn't do Google. I couldn't do social media. I became a millionaire because the list was Seamless. All I got to do is use Seamless to build the list. So we just used our own software to just go all in. Hey, let's pick the top industries. Let's build a list of our ideal customers, people that are in sales and recruiting and marketing. And then let's go prospect them, sell to them, pitch them. That got us to like 0 to freaking tens of millions of dollars in sales.
So let me unpack that for a moment. The ICP, the ideal customer profile for you in the industries that you targeted, were you able to build various playbooks for different personas, different scripts? Like once you have the list, you mentioned scripts and training and obviously messaging within there. Tell me about that, because the list.
The first few million was not like crazy personalized, all the gurus will tell you got to leverage 19 different sequences that are hyper personalized and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Like, let me preface that I love that and I believe in it and we do it. However, like when you sell a low ticket, high volume product, like Seamless AI, that's for free, or a paid license for $100 a month, unlimited leads, you can use hyper personalized messaging by the industry and a broad group of personas at scale because it's so cheap. But if you've got, I'm selling 100,000, I'm selling $1 million, I'm selling a $10 million deal for Google or IBM, that is 6 month to 1 year campaign, multi-channel, hyper personalized per persona, per industry, per company, like research by the company with their 10K, with their goals, with their news, with their fundraising, so it all depends on like, I went from high ticket to low ticket, $1 million deal to $100 deal and $100 a month deal. And doing that, like, it's okay. What's the industry? What's the department and group of personas that I'm selling to? I'm going to hit on their pain points. Hey, everyone needs more leads, appointments, and sales. Everyone wants to automate the 3 to 5 hours a day they're wasting on endless list building, CRM data entry, and appointment setting work. Everyone, these personas want to flood their calendar with back-to-back appointments on the hour, every hour. So I used that messaging with the industry pain points and went like 0 to 10, 0 to 15, 0 to 20 million, not really getting that scientific with it because you didn't need to.
Just to drill down on that a little bit more, was it then with the list building, it was high volume, and were you paying attention to how well your messages were converting, or were you just like, you know what, if we send out, or we're able to build lists of however large the list was, and we're able to get, 100 customers a month, whatever that converts at, it converts at, but all we need is 100 customers a month to hit our revenue goals, or whatever, 100 a month, 500 a month. Like, tell me about that.
Yeah, I was obsessed with like selling for Google. You're just doing so much A/B testing on ads, copy, headlines, hooks, virality, opens, clicks to demo, clicks to sale. So I'm probably underestimating or under communicating like how much A/B testing and analyzation I was doing, my small team was doing. We were doing a ton of it, especially around subject lines, opens, and clicks. Like, we were ruthlessly looking at the data. I believe I was one of the first 100 customers of Outreach.io. So like, I was always looking for, the best sales data. Okay, that's seamless.ai. I'm looking for the best sales workflow automation tool that then also gives me the best data on open rates, click rates, funnel rates from top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. What was the average order size, the LTV per persona, per industry. But like at that time, it was mainly open rates, click rates, book rates, and then tweaking. We did a lot with copywriting tweaking. And it was a lot of like a ton of calling and a ton of emailing.
Okay. Yep. And so with the open rates and click rates, the open rates and click rates, was there with all the data that you were looking at every day, were you, as you were tweaking, what were your benchmarks? What were you looking at and saying, okay, if we can get, 5% opens, if we can get, 3% clicks, like tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. It's funny because like now we're almost 500 employees, right? And over 110 million in sales. So like, I don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
But I remember the funnel because if you do it every day, you won't forget. And if you ask anyone, hey, do you remember the data? And they're like, oh, I don't remember. They're full of shit. They probably never did it. So I remember the way that I did it was, okay, a list. I'm going to build a list. Worst case scenario, my messaging is going to go from list to booked appointment at 2.5% to 5% or 2.5% to 10%. Like, I don't remember if it was 2.5% to 5% or 2.5% to 10%. What I wanted to do was I never wanted to underestimate. I never wanted to overproject a higher conversion rate and then like underperform. I was like, I'm always going to assume worst case scenario. Hey, okay, my list is going to convert to a demo at a 2.5% or 5% conversion rate. So if I build a list of 100 and I prospect 100 people, I'm going to book 2 to 5 appointments.
Okay.
And then from those appointments, my close rate was crazy high because I'm the founder and CEO, right?
Yeah.
And literally became a millionaire using Seamless at IBM and Google, selling with this pain of wasting freaking hundreds of hours a year, 3 to 5 hours a day, click, clack, CRM data entry, copying and pasting contact info into CRM, all this bullshit, right? So I was closing, I mean, it got up to like 50%, but I would say if I had to like under project, my close rate was anywhere from like, I think the average was like 35%. But if I had to give a range, I'd say like anywhere from 20 to 50%, I was closing those demos. And I would probably in the funnel always project 20%.
Yeah.
Like I'd always project what was the worst that I did. And then that's my funnel that I'm going to architect I'm going to model all my numbers off of. 2.5% demo rate, demo hold rate, not booked rate. And then a 20% close rate. And if it's $100 a month, that's a $1,200 a year average contract value. And then I projected a 3-year lifetime value of a customer because I didn't have the data of a lifetime value of a customer. Like right now, our LTV of a customer is much greater than that, like 5 years. But back then you don't have the data. So you just have to be like, I'm going to guess. I think it'll be used 3 years. That's my LTV. And then you can figure out your CAC to LTV. Like, what does it cost to acquire a customer? What's my LTV? As long as you're over a 2 to 3 to 1, like people really look for best in class 3 to 1 CAC to LTV, you're golden.
When you say 2.5 booked on 2.5% of the book for demos, what is that? Is that out of the 100, a list of 100, 2.5% out of 100?
Yeah. So 100 leads,
yep,
at least a 2.5% demo held rate.
Yep. Okay.
So I like out of the 100 leads, I may book 5 or 10. Worst case scenario, hold 2.5 to 5. Like on average, we see an 80% hold rate, 75 to 80% hold rate. So if I book 5, 3 will hold worst case scenario.
Yep. But to get to that 2.5, that there has to be a certain percentage of people opening it, a certain percentage of people clicking on it. So I guess what I was asking is what percentage of the people?
Yeah. I didn't look at that. I didn't break it down like that. Like I didn't give a shit about how many clicked, how many opened. But when I was writing copy, I cared about it.
Right.
Like my funnel was never like, okay, I've got 100 leads. I need to send 100 emails. That's going to equal X amount of opens, Y amount of clicks, Z amount of demos booked, and L amount of demos held. I just went straight leads, booked, held, closed one.
Got it. Okay.
But copywriting, you better believe I'm looking at, I was looking at my cold openers, my value proposition pitch, my headlines, my subject lines, my call to action, what call to action performed better. So it's funny, like at the beginning of this podcast, I'm like, I wasn't that scientific with it, but we were pretty scientific. Like we were ruthless. I think it was because I had one channel, like outbound selling, which is really multiple channels, but I only had like one thing to do: build the list, sell to the list using calling, emailing, and LinkedIn social selling. Mm-hmm. So there's so much time available in 24 hours. If you're doing one all in on the list, 3 channels only, we did invest. Like I would get in fights with my VP of sales and it was just me and him and maybe like an engineer. We would fight over copy for like hours.
Wow. No kidding.
Your opener sucks. My opener's better. Like your value proposition, that makes no sense. Mine's better. And the funny part is what we saw was they both worked.
I was going to say the data will tell you. You don't even have to fight. Just look at the data the next day or the next week and it will show you.
Mike used the Terminator of business development and that generated took us to probably 15 million in sales. I used like seamless is like we would use analogies. I used a lot of the fucking guy with the red suit with the white thing on the chest. I forget.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about, to be honest with you. I thought I had somebody.
Yeah, it's one of the superheroes. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Oh, it'll probably come to me. So let me ask you this: the price point, which is fascinating to me a little bit, because you said it was a low ticket item as opposed to what you had been selling in the past. How did you decide on the price point? In other words, in had you considered?
I copied Salesforce and I guessed.
Got it. Okay.
I was like two things. One, I want to make it like, I hate DNB and Zoom Info. We were spending millions of dollars on Zoom Info and Dun & Bradstreet, selling at Google and IBM. Those databases were old, stale, outdated, expensive, and missing 90%. Like selling for Google and IBM, I needed to sell to digital marketers. They were missing my total addressable market. They had no digital marketers in these databases, which is why I built Seamless to automate selling to anyone in the world instantly in seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to be able to like, I just had this epiphany. I'm like, sell to the masses, dine with the classes.
Yep.
Like, I'd rather have everyone in the world on my product than a very few people benefiting from my product and a few people getting rich. I always wanted to like help as many people as possible, make as much money as humanly possible. Because one, waking up every day knowing you've helped a lot of people make a lot of money is better than helping a little bit of people make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I also wanted people to be able to put it on a credit card.
Mm.
And I'm like, for some reason, I just thought if it was $100 or less,
mm-hmm.
anyone in the world could put that on a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if I was in college and broke, I could put $100 a month subscription and be like, hey, I've got $300 in my bank account. I'm going to charge $100 right now, and I'm going to make it back in one day.
Right.
And I also looked at what did Salesforce do? Because my goal was to beat Salesforce 0 to 100 million. They did it in 5.2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we went 0 to 110 million in 4 years, which we're super proud of. But I copied and modeled a lot of what Salesforce did because they crushed it and they were going after the same personas.
When you mentioned that you used your own product, when did you extricate yourself, I guess, from Google or wherever you were to start when you were actually on your own? This is my business, Seamless AI. What year was that?
I had like 10 to 20 customers while I was working full time, you know, and then like my company was trying to buy licenses from me. And I'm like, okay, I should probably go all in on this. It's ready. I didn't want to take the $1 million pay cut, you know? Mm-hmm. So quit my job in May of 2015 and then it took 3 years to build the Seamless AI SaaS software.
Okay.
Like the engineers just couldn't figure it out. It took 3 years to build, and then we launched it in 2018, May of 2018.
So when you went out on your own, the SaaS part wasn't even built. It was just the list.
It was a back end, like there was no front end because like I built this hacky code that could search and find anyone's contact info, but I had to input a bunch of shit. I had to use coding to do it. Like it wasn't built to be a 360 front-facing SaaS software.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still buggy and would crash and like all types of shit. So, you know, building a search engine that finds anyone in the world, contacts companies that you need to sell to is just a massive task. And then add on top of that, finding everyone's cell phones, finding everyone's emails. The engineer, like it is so hard to build. We almost went bankrupt every year trying to build it.
Wow.
For 3 years, every engineering group that I hired, 3 to 5 engineers, first year, they tried to build it, they quit. Hired another group of 3 to 5 engineers, they tried to build it, they quit. Now I'm down to $0. I raised $300K and I got lucky doing mass advertising, mass list building. I found the right engineering partner who got screwed. This is why culture is important, right? IBM, I hated. Had a bad culture. That does not mean IBM's a bad company. Just that division, that department at that time was bad.
Yep.
My partner, my head of technology engineering, his boss thought he was shitty and always tried to fire him. So he sees my ad to be a partner at this company. He's like, I'm done with this toxic culture. I'm done with this idiot who thinks I'm an idiot. Joins me. The guy's a fucking genius. Builds the platform in 3 to 6 months, hires 2 more engineers that he used to work with We go to market within a year, launch it 0 to millions in first year.
How did you have the belief to keep going when those engineering
Oh,
teams
dude,
failed?
I was just obsessed with solving the problem. But that year 3, I told myself, if we don't crack it this year, I don't think it can be done. And I would have lost everything. Like, I knew I was going all in to lose everything. Year 1, year 2, year 3. That last year, like my wife said, she's never seen me break down before. It was during that last year when we couldn't figure out how to architect it, build it. I broke down crying, was about to lose everything. And luckily just woke up the next day. Like, every day is a tough day. You just wake up, just keep giving it your all. It's a new day filled with opportunity. You never give up. You keep trying to find solutions, stay positive, stay coachable, hard work. My book, Whatever It Takes, really helped. Because you feel like you're Thomas Edison, or like you just feel crazy.
Yeah.
Trying something new, getting the same result. Trying something new, getting the same result. You do that 1,000 times and you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So like, I'm losing everything I saved, everything I made. And then luckily we nailed it, thank God. And now we get to help and serve, nearly a million teams to help them connect to opportunity, which is just a blessing. Now I get to have the best time of my life because I just get to work with people to help them build great businesses, create their dreams for their families, you name it.
I know we're short on time, but I just have to ask this question, then I'll get into our rapid fire 5, or just make this statement, which was, I just was presuming that you had already raised money at that point when you were, failing with the engineers. But you're saying from the money that you earned just from sales, you used your own money and savings to pay these engineers and to get this thing off the ground, and then raise money after that. Is that right?
Yeah, I bootstrapped the company for 2.5 years with my own money, ran out of all of my own money, pitched 347 VCs. So I built a list of 22,000 VCs and angel investors using Seamless, prospected all of these investors. I had over like 500 to 600 VC meetings, pitched 347 VC meetings. Everyone, every week, every month was telling me no, 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 for all types of reasons. You didn't go to Harvard. You're not a programmer. You're a solo entrepreneur, because I was funding it all, like not really bringing on co-founders. Your wife is involved with you in the business. Like, they say no for 90 million reasons, right? And it literally took me years to raise any capital. And then finally, I had a few pre-seed investors say, we'll give you $300K for a much lower valuation than you want, but you could take it or you could leave it, and we'll help you really build this thing. And you could hire the engineers that you need. This was in the 3rd year. I was out of money. I needed money to hire the engineers. They're like, look, take the $300K, hire 3 engineers, and let's bring this thing to market. And it was like, I wanted a 5 million pre-money valuation. They're like, we'll give you $300K at 3 mil. And I was like debating and fighting, and I told them no. And then I came back a few weeks later and I'm like, let's do it. They wired the money instantly, took that money, found Austin, then found the other 2 engineers from Austin's network. We were live in 6 months, 0 to millions, saved the company with that money and with finding the right tech partners. And then from there, it still took forever to raise a seed round. Like, I bootstrapped the company for so long. 2 reasons. One, I became a millionaire using the software and used all the money that I made using the software to bootstrap it. But 2, because everyone told me no.
Right.
All these assholes kept telling me no. It's no one needs sales leads, and sales leads aren't sexy, and businesses don't need sales leads. I'm like, guys, you cannot sell anything to anyone without the list. The list will make you rich. You need sales leads, the book appointments, the close sales. What are you not missing? They were always following like the latest tech in multi-channel marketing attribution, or just bullshit that never really made any money.
Right.
And then finally, like after years of pitching VCs, they finally invested in my seed round. So I went from like a $2.5 million seed round to then $100 million fundraise, like out of nowhere.
So you went from seed to
Mainly
100?
because I was bootstrapped the whole time.
Yeah,
and
right.
because we grew so fast with very little funding. I didn't need to keep we used list building and selling to the list that we built with Seamless to grow the business. I wasn't like, oh, I need to spend, 5 million to make 1 million. It was like, yeah, we'll spend 200K to make $1 million. And I'll just keep doing that over and over and over again because we build the list, sell the list, boom, boom, boom. It's the most efficient channel out of any channel possible. And we just got to tens of millions and then raised a big, $100 million, you would call it like a growth round. We skipped Series A, B, C, and just went to growth.
That's quite remarkable, for sure. Okay, well, I want to be respectful of your time. So do you have time?
Yeah,
for
we got
round?
a few minutes to do the rapid fire stuff. I love rapid fire. No problem.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right, let's get into it. Rapid fire 5. Number 1, what motivates you?
Accomplishing the impossible. I love setting really big goals that I actually don't even believe I can accomplish and then doing whatever it takes to accomplish them. And I would also say what motivates me is seeing this 16,000 six-figure club winners, the 5,038 seven-figure club winners, the 583 eight-figure club winners. I'm a salesperson that gets to help other salespeople make more money than they've ever dreamed of. And that's just the greatest freaking thing in the world. So every day I get to do what I would love to do anyways. That inspires me. And then setting this massive, impossible goal and then achieving the goal really just helps. And then you get stuck along the way. Every day you got good days, bad days, and you just got to stay focused on the mission, the vision, the people that you serve to keep going every day.
Love it. Name a big goal you have right now and when you would like to accomplish it.
Right now, the goal is to get to 100 million in annual recurring revenue. We've generated over $110 million in sales, but that's not recurring every year on autopilot.
Right.
The goal right now is get to 100 million ARR, be worth $1 to $2 to $3 billion, and then IPO. And we're not far from that goal. The impossible goal, that's an easy goal. We'll accomplish that in the next 12 months, 18 months. That's boom, done. Right. The impossible goal that's possible is the $1 billion in annual recurring revenue. Mm-hmm. That's fucking hard. And then you're worth 20, 30, 40, 50 billion dollars as a company. I know how to get to 100 million. Okay. I need X amount of users, Y amount of appointments, Z amount of customers that I got to add to get to $1 billion. 100 million, you basically need 1,000 employees, but to get to 100 million, you need 1,000 employees. To get to $1 billion, you need 10,000 employees.
How
do you even manage 10,000 people? I don't even know. How do you make sure that you're maximizing the productivity? And also we're remote. So I love building a remote company. Man, I couldn't even imagine 10,000 people globally working remote. How do I inspire? Does Zoom even work for 10,000 people remote? You just run into these crazy problems.
Right.
How many offices would we need globally for 10,000 people? Mm-hmm. Do we need an office in China, Japan, Asia, APAC, EMEA, Australia? You're just thinking about just crazy stuff.
All fun problems to think about, though, right? I can see you're beaming with it. I can't wait to watch that journey. What's your most preferred way to learn new information and to stay sharp?
Oh, this is so easy for me to answer. Kindle on my iPad. So I love speed reading. I try to read a book a day. I'll download a book on Kindle. I use this clicker. So this is a speed reading secret. So literally I've got this system where, I put on white noise. I block everything else out. I pull up the book on my iPad, Kindle. I'll use my speed reading clicker, 4 seconds a page, and I'll just fly through the book, 30 minutes, 30 minutes a book, highlight anything that's super important so that you can go back to it on the Kindle. It's my favorite way to read, favorite way to review important notes, review important data, important info.
What are you learning right now? Like, what do you want to learn? As you're looking at books, what do you learn? Like, what's the thing that you want to learn?
Yeah. That's also easy too. Like right now it's mass retention. Like, how do I maximize time to value? How do I maximize customer retention at scale? Because if I could get customer retention to like 150%, that means I don't have to ever acquire a new customer again. And the book of business every year grows 50%, which is insane. So my goal right now is like, how do I go product-led growth, maximize customer retention, maximize time to value instantly in 24 hours, and help my customers make so much money that they keep adding licenses, adding salespeople, marketers, recruiters, grow their book of business with Seamless by adding licenses and more products. And like, there's so much science to habit stacking, product-led growth, customer retention, upselling, cross-selling, creating the aha moment, the habit moment, involuntary churn, voluntary churn. There's so much shit with that. Engagement, usage levels, low usage, mid usage, high usage. Like, I'm all in on that.
Oh man, it's fantastic. How many hours of sleep do you average per night?
I go to bed at 10:30, 11, and I wake up at 4:45 a.m. every day, whatever that equals.
What's your favorite thing to do when you aren't working?
Watching trashy reality TV or Netflix shows. Like something that's just stupid. Like God, what's
your favorite trashy reality show you watch?
Man, there's I don't even know what half of them are called, like off the top of my head, but like, I don't remember what they're called even.
I like that.
But like, just something that doesn't deal with anything, like, because I'll try to put it on right before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Because like, if I'm like last night, I was up working on programming named entity recognition models, like NLP models to identify contacts in companies and stuff. Like if I do that right before bed, then I'm up for hours before I finally pass out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Brandon, shut everything down at 9:30. Watch something stupid to get your mind off of work, pass out, wake up at 4:45. And then when I wake up, my habit is like, I read for an hour, read for 30 minutes to an hour, write for 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'll work out for an hour. And then I like sprint through the day.
Yeah. That's awesome. Right. I squeezed an extra one in there. It was technically 6, but last question. This came from a previous guest, and then I'll ask you a question that you want to ask the next guest. So the previous guest asked, what would make your life have meaning if your kids were telling their grandkids? What would make your life have meaning if your kids were telling their grandkids?
I think it's just, my dad helped a lot of people. He cared insanely about changing the lives of so many people. I wake up every day writing the books, building the software, dealing with so much bullshit, so many people coming at me, the company trying to, like, when you build an empire, everyone's trying to take out the empire. And there's so many fires and so many problems that you deal with every day. Like, my wife and I could quit and never have to deal with anything ever again. But like, that doesn't help more people. That doesn't change more people's lives. So like, why Danielle and I, who's the COO, my wife, why we do this, why our VPs, our amazing VPs, our directors, our amazing managers, every single person at the company that inspires me, why we wake up and do what we do every day is to help as many people as possible maximize their potential and achieve their goals and dreams. So I would want them to say, hey, my dad woke up every day, giving it his all to help as many people as possible. And authentically, like, you couldn't undeniably disagree, because there's proof everywhere that like who I am right now on this podcast is like I've got video people that follow me around 24/7. Like, who you see here is who I am every hour of every day. I want to give. And the more you give, the more you'll get.
Yeah, it's fantastic. A reality show, I'm imagining that you're producing as well, if people are following you around 24/7.
Yeah. I mean, we try to. It's funny because we suck at YouTube. Like, we post all this amazing content on YouTube of literally live documenting building $1 billion company. And it's just crazy how little people tune in to like learn from it.
Wow. Well, now that I know, I am absolutely going to tune in. Was it just under Seamless AI's?
Yeah, just Brandon Bornancin, Seamless AI on YouTube. And by the way, I assume responsibility for you not knowing and other people not knowing. We need to get better and improve our YouTube marketing, our social media marketing, you name it. But like, we're interviewing the top sales experts, the top entrepreneurs. We're documenting everything, pitching VCs, closing tens of millions of dollars in sales, $100 million in sales, everything, anything and everything. We're documenting what we learned, how we did it, and we share it so that you could learn from us to do it better, smarter, easier, faster.
Oh, I'm really excited about that. That's fantastic. I'm going to eat it up. One last question, which is, what question would you ask my next guest, who will also be a go-to-market leader at a tech company?
Yeah, I love that question, by the way. I'm gonna take that. Do I have your permission? And I'm gonna take it regardless if I have your permission. But Jay, do I have your permission to take that question? Because I think that's genius. Like, what question would you ask someone, if you got to interview a bunch of famous people? But the thing that I
stole it from somebody else, by the way. So yeah, you can just steal it from me because I stole it from somebody else.
All data and all info is taken from a bunch of people anyways. Like, right. You're never doing something for the first time ever, essentially.
Right.
My question would be like, what's the number one thing? Like, what's the one thing that you learned or that you do that multiplied your success the greatest?
That's
like for me, you like I shared it. It was like the list will make you rich. When I got put on that performance plan and I found out that I was wasting 60 to 70% of my time in sales on building the list, like that was my epiphany, my aha, my game changer. And when I automated all that work with Seamless, it changed everything for the trajectory of my life. Like, I went from just being another person in my family tree who is going to be a blue collar or white collar or just middle, lower class to like legacy builder for my family's name. Like, I was the guy that changed everything for our family, for history, that one thing. So I want to hear like, what's the one thing that you learned or did or habit or whatever that changed everything for you in multiplying your success?
That is fantastic. Yes. What is the one thing that you did or learned that, or habit that changed and multiplied changed everything for you to multiply your success? And I love the fact that yours was born out of a struggle, right? Born out of a challenge. And you were able to face the challenge, overcome the challenge, and the rest is still, I'm not going to say history. The rest is still being written. Brendan, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, say thank you for doing this, and maybe start following your channel on YouTube? Give me where should people go?
Yeah, so I post daily on LinkedIn and YouTube, and then I've got an amazing newsletter that goes out where I share sales secrets. I share, everything that we're learning and doing. Just go to seamless.ai, join for free. You'll get the newsletter. You'll get hundreds of dollars in free sales credits. And then you'll when you join the Seamless, you'll get links to all my social. So I recommend just go to seamless.ai, join for free, and you'll get free sales leads, anyone's emails and cell phones, and a bunch of sales, marketing, and entrepreneurship content to help you maximize your success.
You heard it, Brandon Bornancin. Thank you for participating in the Goats of Growth.